The reason you have to can funk, the reason you should or we should have put funk in a box and said funk is this and funk is not that, is because if you don't, anybody can come around, make some music and say it's funk. And if people say, oh, you can't can funk, funk is this, funk is that, funk is this, funk is that, that to me is why funk never really made it. Funk went from disco. Okay, let me ask you this. If you can't can funk, is disco funk? Some people think disco is funk. You gotta say, yep. Of course you can be liberal and open-minded and everybody gets a trophy and we all win and boys are girls and girls are boys. I didn't have to say that. But at some point, you have to clarify what you're talking about. When I say funk, I wanna go see some funk. I don't wanna go there and see no disco or no Olivia Newton-John. I want people to know what I'm talking about. And that may be why funk never really got its own section in the music. It was always a part of R&B. Funk was big in the 70s. It was multiple bands out there making music. It was a movement. It was definitely, I don't want to use the word gentrified, but that possibly be it, or it was mainstreamed into disco, something more danceable for the mainstream, and I mean white people, because funk is hard to dance to for white people. You gotta wait on that beat. There's a space in there on purpose. James Brown's music doesn't have that space. It comes down on the one, but it's always funk. You gotta wait some time. You gotta stop, and then it's like I saw Mr. Curry do this. Last do this. And Boosie, you go. That to me is a physical motion. Explain. It is a good explanation of funk. The music, you have to, it's this, there's a in it. And to me, that is a big, huge part of the music that I call funk that came from the 70s. That was manifested with Mothership Connection, went mainstream. I'm sure other groups may have done it, this or that. But Mothership Connection was the first one I heard, and a lot of people heard. We want the funk. We want the funk. Have that funk. Oh, that. That's what I'm talking about. And when they say, and then not only that, funk was used as a noun in mainstream. It wasn't funky, an adverb. It wasn't funking, a verb. I don't know which one. It was funk was a noun. Funk was a thing now. And that's where, not only just because James Brown was on the one, just because Sly Stone came up with lyrics, out of this world, just because Sun Ra took us to space, until Mr. Clinton and Mr. Collins and Mr. Worrell and all them pulled all that together, had every instrument in the damn house coming on the one, and put that emphasis on the one, and put that space in between there. That's why at the live show, that the live shows now, they got Benzel got a drum machine on P-Funk, and there's an extra hit in there that is in the middle of that space that I think needs to be there. You got to wait on it. Dun, dun, dun. That space is important. And James Brown didn't have that space, but to me they came up off the one. It's dun it, dun 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 dun. Now we come down, dun 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 dun. That's funk to me. But no, you're right. You can't can funk. So disco is funk. Olivia Newton-John is funk. I always say Olivia Newton-John. I don't know why I go there. The Bee Gees is funk. Staying Alive. Grease, whatever. Not Grease. I just like the Grease. Grease is the word. Probably that's why I keep going to Olivia Newton-John. Boogie Nights. Is that funk? Huh? Yeah. You can't can funk. So it's all funk. But let me tell you this. I'll throw this at you. Everything is funky. Everything is funky. Everything in the world is funky, but everything ain't funk. And just because it ain't funk, it's not saying that I'm saying it's not good. It can be good. Classical music ain't funk. If you can't can funk, ain't classical music funk? Where do you draw the line, Mr. and Mrs. You can't can funk? Where the hell do you draw the line at then? And all right, since I'm going at it, I'm gonna tell this story too. Mr. Billy Bass Nelson was on I think Rick Smooth's podcast, and he was taking questions. And I've been doing this a long time, so I knew what I was doing. So I was like, ask him, is Mommy wants a funkadelic funk? And he did. And he was like, of course it's funk. Of course it's funk. And the way Mr. Nelson would do it. Yeah, of course it's funk. It's funk. Of course it's funk. He even got like irritated at the question. I said, well, okay, wait. Now ask him, is Mothership Connection funk? I was like, ooh, this is good. And it was getting me. I was like, ooh, this is so good. And then he said, and he said, it got some funk in it. Now, where he's coming from a different perspective. I'm saying Mothership Connection is funk, and Mothership Connection and the flashlights. I said, what about Mothership Connection and the flashlights need these? I said, is that funk? He said, they got funk in it. But he said, Mommy wants a funkadelic is funk. And I've said this before. If that's what funk was supposed to be, I understand why someone from that era would be upset when funk went from that to what Mothership Connection and flashlight is, if that was supposed to be funk. But to me, funk started with Mothership Connection. In the same way with funk going into disco. That was funk too, ain't it? You can't can it. So everything is funk, ain't it? As far as you say. And then now even, going 3GP. Whatever the hell they doing, calling it funk. I'm just joking. Y'all know I'm playing. You know I love them. But you know how I feel about that though. And so, I mean, who could say? And the reason is I ain't gonna say you ain't got to do nothing. But funk should have been canned. Funk should have been set. This is what it is. This is the formula. This is what it is. And all of a sudden, and since it wasn't defined, and everybody wants it to be, oh, willy-nilly, and hey, you know, and I tell the truth, I don't think all of that hey, ultra-liberal stuff didn't come in until George Clinton's logo turned orange. And during that era, when he got kind of hippified, I don't know if he got hooked up with the San Francisco people up there. I don't know, whatever era that was. I could probably look back and find out because I was doing that time. And all of a sudden you see his logo turn orange and he got the stuff in his hair and things became more hippie. It looked like he was being more influenced by more liberal, you know, oh, hippie kind of, everything is good, you know. People will say, well, funkadelic was probably always that way. No, I was lucky enough to be kind of close to the band and hear some stuff. There's a clear distinction between what P-Funk is and everything else. Internally, there's a clear distinction to what P-Funk is and everything else. I used to do stuff for people, and I learned early, you don't mix. You don't mix this group with that group. You don't mix this with that. It's funk. It's P-Funk, and it's everything else. So when all this more liberal kind of funk thinking and everything is good and you can't can funk and it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. I didn't say it was bad. I'm saying it's not funk though. That's all I'm saying. My name is Jeffrey. Swing down.